Assalamualaikum, respected student. Hope all of you are fine by the blessing of Almighty Allah. The last session was related to about the product decision with respect to the export marketing, in which I had broadly discussed the various product or brand decisions and the product related strategies. So today we are going to discuss the second P of the marketing, export marketing mix, which is the distribution or placement. The channel of distribution in the markets. This is the session number 14. So, as we are very much familiar from the fact that placement plays a very vital role in the success of any marketing firm, and it is more important in the case of export marketing, because in export marketing we are going to sell or transfer the product from home country to the host country. Therefore, placement decisions play a very vital role in the success of the export marketing. So, channel of distributions are basically the marketing intermediaries through whom the products reach to the final user or the consumers. As we are very much well aware from the fact that in the distribution channel of any company or the distribution system of any firm, channel of intermediaries play a very vital role. And these are those individuals or parties who actually assist the manufacturer in the transferring or shipping their products from point of production to the point of consumption. Therefore, they play a very vital role in the success of any marketing firm, and their role in export marketing is very vital, which I'm going to elaborate in the upcoming proceeding. So, without wasting of time, I'm just coming to the point that what are the channel of distributions that we normally use in export marketing. Channel of distributions can be canalizing agencies, it can be a export consortia, it can be the merchant exporters, or they can be export houses or the trading houses. So these are the broad classification of channel of a distribution from the perspective of export marketing. If we will look at the classification of channel of distribution with respect to the traditional or the domestic market, then their types would be very much different from the the criteria that we normally use in the export marketing. So let me discuss each of the type one by one. The first type is canalizing agencies. In export market, goods are sent through the canalizing agencies. Canalized items are exported through canalizing agencies. So, in canalizing agencies, normally goods are passed through the your canalized agencies, and they normally. So, in a simple word, better canalizing agencies or the canalizing import and export through canalized agencies refer to the extent whereby the import and export is carried out through the state agencies. So canalized agencies are those agencies which are state owned or state incorporated agencies, just like Export Promotion Bureau Pakistan, okay, your Ministry of Commerce and Trade. So these are basically the canalizing agencies. So जब भी ट्रेड जो है वो गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी या स्टेट ऑन एजेंसीज के जरिए या स्टेट ऑन स्पोर्टिंग एजेंसीज के जरिए की जाए तो उसको कैनलाइजिंग एजेंसीज कहते हैं। पाकिस्तान में भी आपकी एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन ब्यूरो ऑफ पाकिस्तान, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड ट्रेड, ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा जो है वो इफेक्टिव रोल परफॉर्म कर रही है एक्सपोर्ट मार्केटिंग में। स्पेशली अब हम फोकस कर रहे हैं हमारी जो कमोडिटी की मार्केट्स हैं इनको, इनकी एक्सपोर्ट में बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस किया जा रहा है। तो एनीवेज, नंबर वन, सेकंड इज द एक्सपोर्ट कंसोर्शिया। Pakistani exporters generally use this channel for exporting goods of small manufacturers. It means small exporters can jointly एक्सपोर्ट थ्रू एक्सपोर्ट कंसोर्शिया। बेटा इनको एक्सपोर्ट कंसोर्शिया में हम कंसोर्शिया या एग्रीमेंट जो है वो किसी भी पार्टी के साथ जो है वो जो इंपोर्ट कर रही है उसके साथ करते हैं, कंसोर्शिया कर लेते हैं। और इस जॉइंट वेंचर या कंसोर्शिया को मद्देनजर रखते हुए जो है वो हम अपनी एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो कंसोर्शिया जो है वो हमें इसके कैनलाइजिंग एजेंसीज के बरक्स जो है वो ये एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट या एक एग्रीमेंट होगा जो कि इंपोर्टिंग कंट्री में जो है वो एक्सपोर्टर करता है, और उसके थ्रू ये म्यूचुअल चैनल जो है वो उनका चैनल इस्तेमाल करके अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स को वहाँ एंड यूजर्स तक पहुँचाता है। थर्ड जो बेटा जो बहुत ही ज्यादा पॉपुलर है, दैट इज मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स। बेटा इन दिस चैनल ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन they obtain order from overseas markets, assemble the products and then export। बेटा यहाँ ये पाकिस्तान बहुत अरसे तक जो है वो मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स में से रहा है। तो ये क्या करते हैं बेटा, ये ऑर्डर लेते हैं फ्रॉम द ओवरसीज मार्केट, फिर उसको असेंबल करते हैं और देन एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं। तो मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स क्या होते हैं, ये ओवरसीज मार्केट से जो ऑर्डर लेते हैं, फिर असेंबलिंग करते हैं और फिर जाकर अपने बिहाफ पे उसको एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं। अब बेटा यहाँ असेंबल क्या होता है, मींस के असेंबलिंग मींस के वो बाई पार्ट्स में प्रोडक्ट को बनाते हैं, देन उन प्रोडक्ट्स को आगे जाकर जो यूजर्स होते हैं उन तक उसको पहुंचाते हैं। इसको हम मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स कहते हैं। अब मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स जो है वो बहुत ही पॉजिटिव रोल परफॉर्म करते हैं, और अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो है वो पाकिस्तान में बहुत ज़्यादा हमारी जो एक्सपोर्ट्स हैं वो ज़ाया हो जाती हैं just because of our contact with these merchant exporters rather than the contact with the end users। तो मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर जो है वो मीन्स के आपसे मीन्स के वो आसान या फिर कम प्राइस पे जो है वो कमोडिटीज को परचेज करता है, देन उसको जो है वो फिर फिनिश गुड्स ला देता है आपको, उसमें थोड़ी सी फाइन ट्यून करके ये आगे जाकर जो है वो सोल्ड आउट कर लेता है। यहाँ मैं एग्जांपल आपको दे सकता हूँ, हमारी बहुत ज़्यादा जो दस्तकारी जो है पाकिस्तान की बहुत ज़्यादा मशहूर है, लेकिन हमारी कोई हमें इतनी ज़्यादा जो है वो उसे बेनिफिट नहीं होता, इस वजह से कि हम उसको डायरेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट नहीं करते, हम इन मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स को देते हैं। हम यानी वो ये आगे जाकर फिर उसको जो पैकिंग करके या उसकी लेबलिंग या उसको फर्दर जो है वो मीन्स के उसमें फाइन ट्यून करके आगे महंगे दामों जो है वो मीन्स के सेल आउट कर देते हैं। इसी तरह थोड़ी सी एग्जाम्पल आपको दे सकता हूँ, हमारे यहाँ साल्ट से रिलेटेड जो है वो नमक है, बहुत ज़्यादा ब्रांड है और इसकी बहुत बड़ी मार्केट है यूरोप में। तो हमारे यहाँ यानी हम बनाते हैं लेकिन हम इसको मार्केट नहीं कर सकते, तो इसीलिए बेटा एक्सपोर्ट मार्केटिंग पढ़ाई जा रही है कि हमें अपनी एक्सपोर्ट को प्रॉपर मार्केटिंग की जरूरत है। तो हमारे यहाँ इसके साल्ट लैम्प और ये बहुत बहुत बड़ी मार्केट है, यानी यूरोप में, इवन मैं खुद मलेशिया रहा तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा लोग जो है वो पसंद करते हैं। तो ये मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स जो है ना, ये इनका रोल जो है वो एज ए मिडल मैन होता है, लेकिन ये जो है वो जो मेन जो है वो बेनिफिट जो है ना ये ऑब्टेन कर लेते हैं। एनीवेज, द फोर्थ टाइप इज एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेस एंड द ट्रेडिंग हाउसेस। Export housing are similar to the merchant exporters. To become export houses or trading house or star trading house or a superstar trading house, certain criteria must be fulfilled. These are the important intermediaries who help to export goods from one country to another country. So there are certain export houses or the trading houses, and these export houses or the trading houses actually assist the exporter to export their product in the various geographical locations. So they are also very important uh, uh, figures, or and they normally assist in the exporting of goods and services. सो एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेज होते हैं, जस्ट लाइक मैं एग्जांपल दे सकता हूँ, कुछ कंट्रीज में ये मीन्स के रेगुलर होते हैं, जैसे पाकिस्तान में हमारे चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड ट्रेड है। इसके अलावा कुछ बॉडीज हैं जो फॉर्मल बॉडीज बनाई गई हैं ये, या फिर इसके अलावा हमारे ट्रेडिंग हाउसेज हैं, जैसे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज होगी, जिसके ये ट्रेडिंग हाउस है, यहाँ जो है वो शेयर्स की खरीदो फरोख्त होती है। इसके अलावा कमोडिटीज की खरीदो फरोख्त के लिए भी इसी तरह के ट्रेडिंग हाउसेज या एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेज बनाए जाते हैं, जो कि एक्सपोर्ट सेंटर्स बनाए जाते हैं, जो कि फैसिलिटेट करते हैं जो है वो आपके एक्सपोर्ट को फ्रॉम वन कंट्री टू अनदर कंट्री। नेक्स्ट इज बेटा ओवरसीज सेल्स एजेंट्स। The exporter can appoint overseas agents to distribute, market his goods. This this is one of the important channel for intermediaries at overseas market beta. So they can avoid their sales agent in the overseas market, and these sales agents basically uh, develop their market in these overseas markets through personal selling or by using the various promotional medias or some personal selling medias. So they are the designated agents, sales agent of the companies, and they are normally responsible for distributing the goods and services amongst the overseas market. Next is your direct exporting channels. The exporter can also undertake direct exporting in the overseas markets. The direct exporting can be done through sales representatives and e-commerce or online businesses. So in direct exporting channel, the exporter can directly sell out its product or services in the foreign markets. Uh, then indirect exporting channel, that is opposite to the direct exporting channel. In indirect channels, the indirect channel is used in exporting when a manufacturer markets his product through another firm which acts as the manufacturer sales intermediary or the middleman. At the overseas marketing At the overseas marketing level, use number of intermediaries such as export brokers, export agent, sales representative of the manufacturer, export management company, purchase, buying agent, export distributor, and so on. So indirect exporting channel is normally used when exporter sell or distribute its product with the help of any party. It can be a middleman, it can be a sales agent, it can be a export management company, it can be a buying agent, or it can be export distributor, and so on and so on. So bottom line is that when this indirect exporting channel is totally opposite to the direct exporting channel, where we, the exporter, sell its product with the help of any third party or the middleman. So these were some of the types. Now moving towards the needs and importance of warehousing. Warehousing is an important element of physical distribution. Warehousing creates time utility. It fills the gap between the time of production till the time of consumption or delivery of the in the market. So one of the most important function of distribution, uh, warehousing is one of the most important function of marketing distribution channel. The distribution or the distributor, the marketing channel of intermediaries, they also perform the role of, as a warehouser. In warehousing, we actually store our product or services for a specific period of time. So now moving towards the need and importance of warehousing. So following are the importance of the warehousing. Number one is supply of seasonal goods and services. Warehousing actually make sure the supply of seasonal goods and services at the specific time period. So they also, second importance is that to manage the seasonal demand of various product or services. So your warehouses, they also manage the seasonal demand of product or services by storing these product or services in a mass quantity so that product or services are available at that particular time. Third is large scale production. So warehouser also facilitate the manufacturer in producing the product in the large scale by warehousing or storing their product or services in the bulk quantity. तो बेटा जब बहुत ज़्यादा स्टोरेज कर लेंगे तो उनके पास जो है वो मीन्स के गोदाम में काफ़ी जगह बच जाएगी, इस वजह से वो जो है वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस जो है वो कर सकते हैं जो आपके मैन्युफैक्चरर हैं. So, fourth is perishable commodities. They also assist in storing the perishable commodities, so that these products can be available for a longer period of time. स्पेकुलेशन जो है वो ये असिस्ट करते हैं स्पेकुलेशन में भी, क्योंकि स्टोरेज जब आप कर रहे होते हैं तो इसकी बेस पे हम जो है वो प्राइस की या फर्दर कोई स्पेकुलेशंस कर सकते हैं. देन प्रोडक्ट कंडीशनिंग. समटाइम्स कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसी होती हैं जिनको स्टोर वेयर हाउस करना जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है, उसके बगैर जो है प्रोडक्ट एंड यूजर तक पहुंचा नहीं सकते. जैसे आपके मैंगोज हैं, तो मैंगोज को कुछ अरसे के लिए जो है वो आपको वेयर हाउस करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि वो कुछ अरसे के बाद जो है वो पकते हैं. तो प्रोडक्ट कंडीशनिंग में भी जो है वो आपको जो है वो वेयर हाउसर्स जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा असिस्ट करते हैं. देन प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी में भी इनका बहुत ज़्यादा पॉजिटिव रोल होता है. लास्ट इज जो डिलीवरी आपके स्केड्यूल है उनको मीट करने में भी ये बहुत ज़्यादा असिस्ट जो हेल्प आउट करते हैं. So these are some of the salient features or the importance of your warehousing. Now I am going to discuss the necessity of warehousing in export marketing. As I already mentioned that warehousing is a necessity and useful in export marketing. So warehousing is necessary and useful in export marketing. It is one of the important, it is one important infrastructure facility required for large scale exporting. Warehousing facilities are required for manufacturing goods for export purposes. And here are some of the advantages of warehousing in export marketing. Number one, uh, it will help in carrying out the product in huge quantities. Export transactions, as you know, that are conducted in huge quantities. Naturally, such goods need to be stored in a proper manner before the transportation. For this, warehousing facilities are necessary, particularly at the port towns. Secondly, just-in-time supplies in several developed countries like Japan, USA, etc. Firms require just-in-time supplies such as auto components or parts. For example, Honda Motors sign just-in-time supply contracts with its vendors. Therefore, the suppliers need to have your warehouses in the overseas market to supply the components or parts on the time to the foreign firms. So just-in-time supplies. It also warehousing facilitates the firms in order to achieve the just-in-time objective. So you know that the aim of marketing is to makes the product available at the right time in the right place as well. So in order to meet that particular objective, warehousing actually facilitate the firms, and it could also facilitate the both exporter and the importers. Next is after sales service requirements in the sense of in case of engineering goods, exporters need to provide timely and efficient after sales services. Therefore, the exporters need to maintain a good stock of the part or components in the warehouse markets. Sometimes the exporter may have to replace quickly the entire products. Therefore, there is a need for warehousing the parts, components, and the finished the items. So anyhow, in the case of after sale, your warehousing also facilitate export procedure. Definitely, it's a very long and lengthy procedure. So, as warehousing would also assist the importer and exporter in the proper commencement of these export procedures. Here, pre-shipment inspection is necessary. In addition, customs formalities are required to be completed at the port town. Thereafter, goods are located in the ship for onward transportation. These steps in the export procedures are time consuming. During this period, warehousing of export items is needed. Then risk in export marketing, definitely export marketing is risky. Risk relate to safety and security of goods. The importer may not make payments if the quality of imported goods is inferior or if the goods are damaged during transportation. This may lead to trade dispute and delay in securing payments from the importers. All such situations can be avoided if satisfactory warehousing facilities are available to the exporters. So anyhow, it would also reduce the risk in export marketing as well as it is clear. Then come tariff quota regulations. Export countries may impose tariff quotas regulations. Under tariff quotas, certain quantity is allowed to be imported at low or no custom duty. Beyond that quantity, higher duty is imposed. Overseas suppliers need to produce the goods well in advance, and therefore there is a need for warehousing of such products and services. Anyways, this is another importance. So these were some of the importance of the warehousing for the export marketing. Now I'm moving towards the level of marketing channel in export marketing. There might be the direct selling, as I already mentioned, selling through intermediaries, dual distribution, and reverse channels. In reverse channel, instead of uh, using the pull strategy, company normally use the push strategies, whereby orders are obtained from the customers and then orders are taken by the agents, and then agents delivers these orders to the export firms, and then they actually develop the product or services, produce the product or services to the end users. तो रिवर्स चैनल में क्या होता है जी, आपका कस्टमर जो है वो सेल्स एजेंट को ऑर्डर देता है, वो ऑर्डर नोट करके एक्सपोर्ट फर्म्स को जो देगा, एक्सपोर्ट फर्म जो है वो फिर इन रिटर्न जो है वो उसको प्रोडक्ट जो है वो डिलीवर करेगी. इसको रिवर्स चैनल्स कहते हैं. Now moving to the type of distribution channels, beta. So the channels may be broadly divided into two parts. Number one, distribution channels of consumer goods and distribution channel of business goods या industrial goods. दो तरह के हमारे distribution channels होते हैं. First of all, I would like to discuss the distribution channel of consumer goods. Here are the 6 distribution channels of your consumer goods in the export marketing. Manufacturer can deliver their products. The first level is that manufacturer delivers the product to the agent, agent to the wholesaler, wholesaler to the retailer, and then retailer to the consumer. Second channel is that manufacturer to agent, agent to retailer, and then retailer to consumer. Third channel is that manufacturer to agent and agent to consumer. While fourth is manufacturer to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and then retailer to the consumer. While the fifth channel is manufacturer to retailer and retailer to consumers. And the last is the direct channel, where manufacturer directly deliver its product to the end users. So here are the 6 distribution channels that normally use in export marketing of consumer goods. Now moving towards the distribution channel of export marketing of the business goods, then there are 4 channels basically used in case of distributing the business goods in the export marketing. The first one is manufacturer to agent, agent to wholesaler, and wholesaler to industrial consumer. Second is manufacturer to agent, agent to industrial consumer. Third is manufacturer to wholesaler, wholesaler to industrial consumers. And the fourth one is the direct one, as the consumer channels are involved. So here a question arises: why does the export the channel for consumer market are more as compared to the channel used in the industrial or the business market? Then the answer is that consumer market is more geographically well spread, and consumer market consisting of large population as compared to the industrial or the business markets. So that's why company needs to utilize more channels in order to make the product services available to the end consumers. Now moving towards the various aspects of export distribution. In order to plan about an export distribution, knowledge on two different aspects are a must. If you want to make a plan about the export distribution, then definitely you must be having a knowledge about two important aspects. Number one, the marketing channels that is available in the foreign markets. And the second one, the most appropriate channel is to link the domestic operations to the overseas market. So these are the two things that you should be keep in mind while developing the export distribution plan. The principal form of penetrating export marketing is selling to local export houses or buying houses organization for indirect exporting and appointing agent or distributor for direct export. As I already mentioned. Now moving towards the if these forms are combined with the domestic channel of a distribution in the importing countries, the export distribution channel can be identified as follows. Number one is your direct channel. As the figure suggests that in direct channel, a figure is illustrative of distribution of channel of consumer goods. In case of industrial products, the channel will be shorter because there is no need of retailers. In fact, in many cases, there may not be any wholesaler. There is the direct channel where manufacturer either uh, delivers the products with the help of their agents and the industrial buyers towards that. Now move towards the indirect channels. In indirect channels, uh, exporting, the firms delegates the task of selling products in a foreign markets to an agent or export houses. As this figure is illustrative of distribution channel of goods, in case of industrial products, the channel will be shorter because there is no need of retailers. In fact, in many cases, there may not be any wholesalers in the case of the your industrial markets. The channel of distribution may differ from country to country, market to market, and product to product. This is one of the most important things. So the first task of the producer is to find out the possible distribution channel through which he wants to reach the consumers on the foreign market, keeping in view the characteristics of his products and the market strategy he wants to follow in the market. So the channel of distribution, the bottom line is that may differ from country to country, from market to market, and it depends upon the nature of your product or services as well. If your product is perishable in nature, then definitely you will have to employ fewer channel of intermediaries. Now I'm moving towards the various approaches of export channel strategy beta. So basically there are three approaches used in export channel strategies: push, pull, and emergia. The first is your pull approach. The pull approach of channel strategy relies much upon the incentives, promotional campaigns through advertising, personal selling, and other promotional efforts, and attempts to develop brand loyalty amongst the consumers of the products in the market. The manufacturer is not much worried about the channel. Through advertising, publicity of the product, and the sales promotion activity, the manufacturer create demands so that the consumer themselves create a pressure on the distributor outlets to carry and sell this product. तो पुल अप्रोच में जो है वो जो मैन्युफैक्चरर होता है वो जो है वो एडवर्टीजमेंट पब्लिसिटी के जरिए जो है वो एक अपनी गुडविल प्रोडक्ट की क्रिएट करता है कस्टमर्स पे, अपने टारगेट जो मार्केट है उसके जहन में, और फिर वो जब एक अच्छा इमेज जो है वो इस्टेब्लिश कर लेता है आपका जो है वो मैन्युफैक्चरर या एक्सपोर्टर, तो इटसेल्फ इस स्ट्रॉन्ग इमेज की वजह से कस्टमर इटसेल्फ जो है वो मजबूर कंपेल करना शुरू कर देते हैं रिटेलर्स को, चैनल ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट्स को, कि वो उन प्रोडक्ट को अपने पास जो है वो कैरी करें ताकि उनसे परचेज कर लिया जाए। तो इसमें जो है वो मीन्स के आप पुल करते हो, मीन्स के अपनी एडवर्टीजमेंट और पब्लिसिटी के जरिए जो है वो आप जो है वो ग्रैब करते हो अटेंशन ऑफ द customer. The channel members attempt to store the product in their outlets to serve the customer best because the customer is sovereign Thus, the manufacturer neither established his own setup in the foreign markets, nor does he contact the middleman to sell his products. The channel members are thus forced to contact the manufacturer. Due to this very nature, this strategy is known as the pull approach. तो यहाँ बेटा ना उसे कोई एजेंट रखने की जरूरत है मैन्युफैक्चरर को, ना ही वो किसी को अपने राइट्स देगा, वो अपनी गुडविल के जरिए ही जो है वो मजबूर कर देगा इसके चैनल ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट्स को प्रोडक्ट को कैरी करने पे, और ताकि जब जो है वो कंज्यूमर को जब भी जरूरत पड़े तो वो उसे परचेज कर सके। तो ये बहुत ही इफेक्टिव, इस वजह से इसको फुल स्ट्रेटजी करना होगी। Second is the push approach, that is opposite to the pull approach. Under this approach of distribution, the exporter should establish his own channel of distribution and assume full control over it to use it as a promotional instrument. The exporter therefore should make effective planning, establish organization, implement it and have effective control over it. The exporter will function as the channel later. पुश अप्रोच में बकायदा आप अपने जो है वो चैनल्स के जरिए जो है वो आगे प्रोडक्ट्स जो है वो एस्टेब्लिश करेंगे। थर्ड इज एज ऑलरेडी दैट ग्रेविटी अप्रोच. The gravity approach of distribution channel is essentially a passive approach. Under this approach, the seller or manufacturer exporter is in touch with intermediaries and sell his whole production to that intermediary. It is the intermediary who look after the actual distribution work in the foreign markets. The manufacturer should not worry at all for its distribution function. The consumer do not know even who the producer of the product they are using is. The manufacturer neither establish his own sales organization in foreign markets nor take it seriously at the distribution work is done by the middleman. तो यहाँ ग्रेविटी अप्रोच में जो है तमाम जो है प्रोडक्ट जो है वो आप अपने एक एजेंट को दे देते हो और फिर वो आगे जाकर जो है वो इसको डिमांड को मद्देनजर रखते हुए, टाइम को मद्देनजर रखते हुए आपको आपके कंज्यूमर्स को जो है वो प्रोडक्ट मेक अवेलेबल करता है। ना ही कंज्यूमर को पता होता है कि इसका मैन्युफैक्चरर कौन है, और ना ही जो है वो अदर चैनल ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम वो मिडलमैन जिसको उन्होंने कैरी किया उनको भी पता नहीं होता। तो ये भी एक इफेक्टिव अप्रोच है। So these were all about the today's discussion, beta, in which I have broadly discussed about the channel of distribution in the export marketing. So as I already discussed, mentioned at the start of the class, that distribution decision in export marketing are totally different from the distribution decision in domestic or a general marketing. So hope you might have enjoyed the material which I have shared, and you might have properly understand the concepts and underlying theories behind these the terms or the strategies which I have explained. So thank you very much for your patience listening. So in case of any questions, you are most welcome to ask. Again, I am very worried about your class participation. So that is not up to the mark. Please make sure your availability during the lecture time, and make sure your participation in the discussion room. Thank you very much. अपना अपने near about का ख्याल रखिएगा. Keep in touch. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.